Hello everyone, this is Jacqueline Joseph and welcome to my channel Jack Out of the Box. In this video, I will be sharing my itinerary, my budget and also about Turkish people. I spent around 8 days in Turkey and this is my itinerary. I spent 3 days in Istanbul. In these 3 days, I was able to cover most of the tourist spot in Istanbul. From Istanbul, I took an overnight bus to Cappadocia. I spent around 2 days in Cappadocia, but I recommend that you spend at least 3 days in Cappadocia. The reason is Cappadocia is a place where you'll be having a lot of activities. You'll be having green tours, red tours, blue tours. I shall talk about these tours in a different video, but at least you need 3 days in Cappadocia. From Cappadocia, I moved to a place called Fethiye. So I went to Fethiye to do paragliding ride, but unfortunately the weather was not favorable enough for me to take the ride. I took the island tour instead. So from Fethiye, I moved to Antalya. From Antalya, I had to fly back to Istanbul, from where I had my return flight. 8 days is a very short time to explore any country. So I recommend that you spend at least 10 to 12 days in Turkey. So there are other places which you might want to visit. Places like Pamukkale, Izmir, Ephesus and Kash. So these places look really amazing, and if you have time, do explore these places as well. Let's talk about the budget. I have spent around 1,75,000 for this trip. Let's see my budget breakdown. I have spent around 35,000 for a round trip flight ticket to Turkey. This is because I have booked my flight well in advance. Then my visa costed me around rupees 18,000 Indian rupees. Accommodation and food, it depends from person to person. I'm a solo traveler, so I opted to stay in backpackers hostel or dormitory, except in Cappadocia where I have stayed in the cave hotel. So my accommodation turned out somewhere around 15,000, and my food costed me around 12,000. I have eaten uh, cinnamon roll or your Nutella buns on the street. I've also eaten in the cafes and restaurant, which costed me some 850 liras per meal. So for me it turned around 12,000, and it depends on how much or where do you want to eat in Turkey. Most of our expenses in Turkey comes in the activity part. Your hot air balloon ride will cost somewhere around 210 euros to 400 euros. It might cost you somewhere between these. And you might want to take tours like island tours, the green tours, Bosphorus ride. So for me, my activities turned around 42,000 Indian rupees. Then comes sightseeing, especially in Istanbul. You will be visiting mosques, palaces, and other sightseeing places. For me, it had costed me around 11,000 rupees for the entrance fees there. And for my domestic travel, for instance, when I travel from Istanbul to Cappadocia, I took the overnight bus in most of the places, and it turned around 12,000 Indian rupees. The Flix bus operator, which operates in Europe, also operates in Turkey. But if you want to save some liras, I recommend you to go to the bus terminal and get your tickets. So you might save like 200 to 300 liras. And then for your intra-city travel, like your tram or your ferry or the funicular you take, this comes around 3,500 rupees. And I got a local SIM in the airport. When I reached Turkey, I needed her local SIM, which costed me around 5,200 rupees. I took the Turkcell operator. There's also another operator, I think Vodafone. If you want to opt for international roaming, you can do it, which will come around 4,500 Indian rupees. So there's pretty much not a big difference, but yes, the local SIM is little expensive. You can opt for something called the eSIM. The eSIM is less expensive, but not all the mobile devices supports eSIM. My phone did not support, so I had to opt for the local SIM. So if you add all these things, my expense so far comes around 1,60,000. Then for my money exchanges, um, for the ATM withdrawals I did, well, no matter what card you're using, I use the Neo Global card. Neo Global does not charge you, does not have forex charge, the markup charges, but whenever you're withdrawing from an international ATM, that ATM was charging me 8%, 8% for each withdrawal. And in some places, they wanted cash instead of the card. And similarly, even if you use a credit card, for every foreign exchanges, they were charging you somewhere like 7% to 8%. On the whole, I have spent 10,000 rupees uh, on my money exchanges. So the remaining 5,000 is on my shopping, on tipping someone or something. So my budget came around 1,75,000, and you can work on your budget. So talking about Turkish people, what I am going to say is purely from my experience. If you have a different experience, I leave it to you. Uh, so I find Turkish people to be very, very helpful, very sweet and warm. For instance, I was traveling from Istanbul to Cappadocia and I did not know the bus terminal. I asked a passerby how to reach this bus terminal. He left all his work, stood with me for almost 20 to 25 long minutes, and he got me into the right bus. He spoke to the driver of the bus, stating that I am new to this place. I do not know the language. I do not know the right stop to get down. And he asked the driver to help me out. That was very sweet of him. And similarly, all the cab drivers who comes to pick and drop you, uh, they tend to open and close the car door for you. So these small gestures, no, it is very nice for a tourist like me, for a first timer like me. And throughout Turkey, I find people to be the same. They were very sweet and very helpful. Having said it, you must be very careful about the scam which I'm going to talk about. Especially in Istanbul, you might see these cobblers. When you cross, they drop their shoe brush or the polish down. What we tend to do is we normally pick it up and give it to them. In Turkey, please do not do this, because when you pick it and give it to them, they are very thankful, and as a token of gratitude, they'll want to polish your shoes. And what happens is, after they polish your shoes, they will charge you a hefty amount for polishing your shoes. So just be careful when someone drops something, please don't pick it up. I witnessed this in Balat region in Istanbul. That's pretty much about my itinerary, my budget, and about Turkish people. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you and have a great day.